Alright, we are watching Overdrive play Zarya on Busan. This is an unranked game, queued as tank. Um, Based on, I briefly watched the rest of the video, like some snippets. Based on the rest of the video, I'm going to guess that this is high bronze, low silver, based on the play of everybody else in the game. I've been playing Overwatch 2 for a while, and I mainly play tank. My hero of choice at the moment is Zarya, but I feel like I have a lot to improve on. I was wondering if anybody would be willing to give me any sort of feedback or tips. And then they attached two losses and a win. Let's take a look. I don't think I've done a Zarya video. If I have done a Zarya video, it's been quite a while, so it's kind of fun to do. And we'll get to go over a lot of the basics of Zarya, right? So it feels, based on what you're saying, the fact that you're unranked, it feels like you're probably relatively new to the game. I mean, if you just started playing Overwatch 2, it's only a couple months, which from the Overwatch community perspective is very new. So you're going to start here. By the way, I saw some people saying that Zarya is trash right now and you can't play Zarya and play Zarya. That is completely false. I don't know why anybody says these things, right? Like, if you're good at Zarya, you will for sure be able to climb to the GM at a minimum. And I see GM at a minimum. Like, it is really not that hard. If you have good mechanics in Zarya, you will absolutely murder people. So yeah, don't listen to them. You like playing Zarya? Play Zarya. It's not. I assure you, it's not that your hero choice is not going to be what holds you back at all. Okay, so let's talk about Zarya for a moment, right? Because I think, again, because I can't remember if I've done a Zarya video in quite a while, if I have done any at all. I think let's take a second and just step back and think, why do we play Zarya, right? What kind of hero is Zarya? When is Zarya strong, right? When is Zarya weak? Well, Zarya basically has 4 resources, okay? Number 1 is her health, obviously, right? When your health is full, that's good. When your health is low, that's bad. Number 2, she has charge. That's the 0 to 100 value in the middle of the screen, okay? When charge is high, she's very, very strong. She's arguably the strongest hero in the game when she is high charge. At high charge, I think she does 180, at 100%, she does 180 or 170 damage per second, which is absolutely bonkers, considering the fact there is no way to mitigate that because it's not a projectile. Like, you can block it with a shield, you can do like percentage damage blocking like Doomfist and Ramattra, but for the most part, most heroes have like Genji Deflect, for example, or Orisa Spin cannot stop the beam, which is very important. So let's call it 180 damage a second with the beam at 100%. Even at 0, Zarya still does 90 damage a second with her beam. For perspective on how much damage 90 damage a second is, you can kill a typical 200 health hero in slightly more than 2 seconds. Or exactly 2 seconds if you zap them and then immediately finish with a melee. Okay? I think most people would say dying in 2 seconds, 2 actual seconds, right? 1, 2, and they're dead, is very quick. And most people would be like, that's really strong. And it's true. Zarya, even with 0 energy, is surprisingly strong. I don't recommend you play on 0 energy, but I'm just saying it does a lot more damage than you think. Okay? Her right click, the balls that you shoot out, the balls only do 45 damage on a direct hit at 0 energy, and at full energy, I think they do 90. Okay? So it's roughly the same scale for both. Okay? You start at 90 and 45 for beam and ball at 0, and it goes up to about 180 and 90 at 100 charge. Okay, so for her right clicks, if you land 2 directs, that's 90 plus 90 is 180, and then a melee, and then they're dead. All right. If you don't hit them directly, if you splash, it does something like 2/3 of the damage, something like that. Right? It's more like a feel thing than the exact number that I know. But the splash is still meaningful. 4 splashes with right clicks at full energy would kill someone. So very, very relevant to think about. So charge, very good. We want to get charge. How do we get charge? We get charge from using bubbles. Okay, when we have a bubble, it absorbs up to 200 damage, asterisk. Why is an asterisk? Is the final instance of damage is infinite. And what do I mean by that? So if you take 199 damage, your bubble does not pop because there's 1 health left. If a Diva Bomb goes off next to you at point blank, Diva Bomb does 1,000 damage and the bubble will block it. So technically, it actually blocked 1,199 damage. Okay? But if someone melees you for 30 damage, then the bubble will disappear, and you only block 229 damage. Does that make sense? Right? It's really important to understand how our bubble mechanics work, because it means that often you can bubble to save against really high damage abilities, like, for example, High Noon, right? Or Diva Bomb. etc. Like these like really hard Terra Surge from Orisa. These are like really high damage abilities that Bubble, even though it typically only blocks about 200 damage, can actually block a lot more. So Bubbles, if someone does at least 200 damage to them, gives you, I think it's about 40 energy. It's been patched up and down over the years, and I'll check it. It's roughly 40 energy. Okay? So you have 2 charges initially. If you use both of the charges and both of them get popped, that is 80 energy right there, which gets you most of the way to 100. 80 energy is great. Anything over 70, I think, is really good. And even over 60 is already fine, right? Certainly playable on 60. I think probably 40 to 60 is like okay range, right? Once you're below 40, then you're probably too low to do the things that you want to do. Now, the bubbles come back on a cooldown, right? That cooldown is incredibly important. Whenever you play Zarya, you must always be aware, how many bubbles do I have? And that determines what you can do. If you had infinite bubble charges, which I believe is the case on, what is it, like Infinite Mayhem or something? There's a special arcade mode where like all the cooldowns are instant. If you have infinite bubbles, you are invincible, functionally invincible. It's like virtually impossible to kill you. So the bubbles are hugely important to your playstyle. You must always think, how many bubbles do I have? In the same way that you think, how much health do I have? And it determines what you do, right? So we covered health, we covered charge, and we covered bubbles, right? Those are the critical resources you must always think about. Do I have bubbles? Do I have health? Do I have charge? And all of your decisions are going to be based upon those things, right? Now that we covered resources, let's talk about what are the situations where you want to play Zarya. Typically, you want to play Zarya when 2 things are true. Number 1, you're able to get charge. Well, how do we get charge? You get charge when you use bubbles, okay? The thing is, the enemy doesn't want to give you charge because they don't want to power you up. So really, if they have the option to not shoot your bubble, they'll typically not do so, except at higher ranks where they'll kill you regardless. So the key thing here is, but how do I get them to shoot the bubble when they don't want to shoot the bubble? Like, how do I get them to non-consensually shoot the bubble? You do that often by blocking projectiles. Because if a Pharah shoots a rocket at you from across the map, and then you pop bubble, she can't stop that rocket from impacting you, right? The rocket's already in the air. In fact, if she's far enough, there might be 2 rockets in the air. Rockets do 120 damage per hit. You block both of those, it's 240 damage, you just pop the full bubble, right? Junkrat, another great example. Junkrat spams a lot of shots just into a choke, trying to put pressure on the enemy team. You can bubble, and you can easily absorb those. There's almost nothing that Junkrat can do, okay? Soldier Helix rocket, that's another great example, okay? Torb turret. Right? Torb turret has to shoot a target. Torb can't get it to not shoot. So Torb turret's a good way to also get energy. Okay? Symmetra turrets, similar thing. Okay? Rhine Fire Strike, really good example of something that's very, very hard for the Rhine to not give you energy by fire striking, unless the Rhine has chosen not to farm ult charge himself. So, when is it good to play Zarya? Well, it's good to play Zarya when you can get charge. It's good to play charge in scenarios where they're typically projectile heroes that you can easily get charge from. Because if you're playing someone like Cassidy goes pow, 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 right? When he shoots his gun. If you choose pow and then you bubble, he can just not shoot you the second time, right? It's not that big a deal. He can just be like, okay, I'll just wait this out and then shoot you after the bubble ends. Soldier, right, is another good example. Besides Helix Rocket, with the regular gun, he shoots a lot of bullets at once, but you bubble and yeah, maybe accidentally shoot you with 2 to 5 bullets, but that's only, let's say 40 to 100 damage. It's actually not that much. The soldier can just stop shooting you, right? Hit scan heroes are typically not as good for Zarya to farm charge off of. It is not impossible, but typically not as good fighting against hit scan heroes. Projectile heroes are the sweet spot where you can farm a lot of ult charge off of them. All right? Now, that's like generally speaking what's good. In terms of tanks, you have to watch out for a few ones. Probably the most prominent one is Winston. Winston does very little damage with his Tesla gun, right? It splashes a lot of people, so the aggregate damage can be a lot, but the individual targeted damage is quite low. Right? Plus, the Winston can engage without you. He can bubble you off. There's a lot of reasons why Winston is bad. But Winston's a good example of a hero where you don't want to play Zarya against Winston typically because you can't get much charge from the Winston, and the Winston can just avoid you. So it's kind of like the worst of both worlds. Right? So again, think about, can I conceivably get charge in this situation? The next reason why you want to play Zarya is, can I get people to come close to me? Because if people can't come close to you, you'll never be able to zap them down. Because your beam does a lot of damage, as we already discussed, right? 90 or 180 damage a second is bonkers. It's so good. You will kill people so fast. Like, some of the best rushes in this game you will ever get, emotional highs, are when you are high energy and you go in and you just melt the opposing team, right? You kill 2 people in 1 mag, you reload, and then you kill 2 more, and the fight is over. And then you grab the next fight and you blow up the whole team. Like, that's the Zarya experience when everything is clicking. Okay? But if people don't have to play near you, right? For example, if they're playing high ground, you're low ground, that's bad for you because then you can't beam anybody down. Can you right-click them? You can. You absolutely can right-click them. It's just not effective, and it's never going to kill anybody. Like, no one's going to sit still and let you right-click them 4 times, and it takes like 3 shots, 3 directs, even at 100 charge to kill somebody. You know, it's not something that's particularly viable as a strategy. So you need to recognize, 1, am I going to be able to build charge? 2, am I going to be able to get people close enough that I can zap them? Right? There's lots of other nuances to playing Zarya, like when you should play Zarya, but in general, I would say those are the 2 most critical things. Can I get charge? Can I zap people? If I can't do either one of those things, you should not play Zarya. Okay. So let's actually play this out. For starters, right? So you see you bubble right away and you only get 18 energy. Right? This is not good. You want to get 40. You want to get at least 30, but getting 18 energy is bad. It's really bad. So one of the things you'll learn about Zarya, I think I really like the statement from A10, who I think is a great educational YouTuber, right? A10, when you watch his unranked GM Zarya videos, which he does a lot, he's like one of the best Zaryas in Europe, I think, is he says, don't bubble for charge, bubble for space. And what does he mean by that? What's my interpretation when he means by that? He means don't bubble just to get charge. Occasionally you can do it. But as a general rule, don't bubble just for charge. Use bubble when you try to take space, okay? Right now, you are not actually taking any space away from the enemy. You're just walking forwards right now. Both teams have just arrived, right, in the middle point. You are not actually taking space yet. What I interpret as one way to look at A10's statement is, instead of bubbling right here to get charge, I would run up here at the opposing team, right? Zap, 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 zap. What are they going to do? Are they not going to shoot me? No, they're going to shoot me, right? Like, I'm just like, if they don't shoot me, I'm just going to kill someone. They have to shoot me. Even at 0 charge, I will kill somebody if they don't shoot me. When they start shooting you, then you pop bubble, right? And then, because they're all shooting you, trying to get you to stop killing the support or DPS or whatever's going on, then you immediately get 40 charge, okay? Then you probably need to back off, okay? Use your bubble and escape. So, that's what I mean. I think this is a good general rule. Don't bubble for charge, especially since it decays faster than in Overwatch 1. Don't bubble for charge, bubble for space. So that's the first mistake that you've made right here. Right? Right clicking, this is fine. So when you get the opportunity to left click people, you should left click people. There's a few exceptions to that rule, but in general, if someone is in left click range, left click them, right? Beam them, don't right click them, beam them down. And why do I say this? Is right here, at this moment, this Junker Queen is beamable. She clearly wants to step forward right here, you know? Like, just keep zapping her. Don't right-click, just zap her. 90 damage a second is not trivial, okay? And you're slightly higher than that, so you're about 100 damage a second. You should just zap the Junker Queen right now with as much of your mag as you can. Why are you backing up right now, okay? Your job as a tank is to make space. You back up, your team has to back up. You need to move forward right now. Very, very important that you need to move forward, especially because the Ashe is going to stay high ground. Your team cannot stay in the spot because the Ashe on high ground is going to stand here and pick everybody off. You must get your team to this spot or into here. If you don't do that, you will lose, right? So very important. You're full health here. You got your bubbles and everything. You must step forward, right? Dynamite comes in. Dynamite's a good one to build charge, by the way. All right, you see the Genji slow? I think this is an okay bubble, but it's not a great bubble. Why? The Genji's clearly on the way out. I just read this from game sense. Like, he's already double jumped over their heads. It's really hard for people to consistently kill him at this point. No one else is looking at him. It's just like the soldier, maybe. I don't think he's going to die here, and I would assume that he also has deflect. He does not, but, you know, that's his problem, right? Unless I saw him get lower, I would not bubble here, because I need to use that bubble to take space. You see how the Junker Queen is already beating you, okay? Nothing has really happened. Like, we've watched 5 seconds of gameplay here, and the Junker Queen's already winning. Why? She has taken the middle space away from you, okay? You see how your Ana's not safe here? Because the Junker Queen's going to be able to go after her in a second. You are not taking any space. You're staying way in the back, which means your team is going to get walked over very, very soon. You must step forward right now. But now you're one for your bubble. You see, you pop this bubble, nothing happens. No one's shooting at you, right? This is the issue, is that if you don't make yourself a threat as Zarya, no one will shoot you. You just hanging out here in the open, popping a bubble, no one's ever going to shoot you here. You must go after a target to force them to fight you. And if they don't shoot you, that's fine. That also works. That's effectively disarming them, if you think about it. If you hold your bubble charge and they hold shooting you, just keep zapping them until they start shooting you. And once they start shooting you, decide, are they going to keep shooting me or are they not going to? Like, sometimes they shoot you just once and stop. You don't need a bubble for that. Just try to test, like, how much damage will they be willing to do before they're like, okay, no, I actually need to shoot you. And then, you know, pop bubble. So again, You see how the Junker Queen is continually making space because she is pushing back your team into this choke. Is she killing you? No, she's not doing anything. She's literally just walking at you, and you have chosen to give up the space by walking backwards. And you didn't need to, because you actually, with both bubbles, could fight her for sure, right, in this confrontation. But you've chosen not to. All right, now you're super low, and now you don't have bubbles. And now the team is going to try to kill you. Okay, because remember, you've wasted 3 bubbles so far, doing very little value for them. And now you're very, very low. Okay, you get healed, your Ana gets killed. Why does your Ana get killed? Well, remember, your Ana can't stay here forever. As I already pointed out, like this is not a safe spot for the Ana. Right? She's trying to get away. Right? She sees you're low. She comes in. She tries to kill you, and then she dies. This is on you, not on your Ana. Your Ana doesn't have anywhere she can possibly play here. You know what I mean? Like, she's trying to keep you alive. That's her job. Your job is to step forward and make space. Okay? I'm gonna make it very clear. This death is on you for sure. All right. So you have 45 energy. You haven't reloaded right now. You see you're at 25 health. You really need to reload. So you decide to take a flank route. Zarya's not a flanker. Let's be clear. Zarya's not a flanker, right? Zarya's like basically a brawler. You want to like run it down mid, play up in their face, right? Get some energy and then walk over them. That's your general gameplay cycle. Is you play passive and like, you know, like a small scared child until you get energy, and then you just walk over them like a tank. So, why is this bad? This is bad because your team is not playing with you. Okay? I think in general, if your whole team is here, I think this is an okay route. But if your team's not playing with you, if you're not like pinging and be like group up or use mic or whatever you want to do, this is really bad because you're going to run in all by yourself. Right? So you see, you're going to go here and nothing is going to happen. Right? You pop that bubble, wait. You see how everyone just waits? Everyone looks at you? Well, I'm gonna watch the Ashe and just show you. Because everyone knows how Zarya works, okay? Zarya's AFK right here. Or Ashe is AFK right here. Oh, Ashe is even shooting at you. All right, let's not watch the Ashe. This is why I think this is high bronze / silver. All right, Jungle Queen goes for you. Right, 1 shot. Okay. She fires 2 shots. Really, she only fired 1. Right, she waits it over, and now she's shooting at you. You see, that's what everyone is gonna do if you try to do this stuff. Okay, if you try to run in just expecting people to shoot at you, it's not gonna happen because everyone knows how Zarya works. All right, good. Beams are good, right? You see how you're only at 45 energy. You nearly killed her. Right. Now you need to reload. You only have 5 ammo. You need to reload. Right? Reload or right click. Actually, you should really right click. That's your step forward. A quick tip is right clicking takes 25 ammo, but any number up to 25 will still work. As in, if you only have 1 bullet left, one ammo left, and you right click, it still does just as much damage as if you had 25. So the optimal way to play is to beam down to as low an ammo as you can, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then right click to finish off the mag and then reload. Okay, so you're putting good right click pressure down. And now you're just beaming out. You see the Junker Queen's low? Okay, great. So she's Suzu'd. Again, you should remember the finish right click. Finish right clicks all the time. You see the Zarya, the Mercy's rezzing? Don't right click there. Right? Again, remember I told you, left click beam does more damage per second. Just left click here, and you would kill her. Right? You're at 80 energy right now, so you're doing like 160 damage per second. 150, 160 damage per second. You would have killed that Mercy yourself in slightly more than 1 second, which would have been more than fast enough to kill her. By the way, you can go even quicker than that by right clicking to finish. Right? So, for example, if you're at 100 charge, you do 180 damage per second, let's say, okay? But right click does 90, you could beam down 110 health and then right click direct to do the last. And then you will kill them in about 1 second instead of taking, 1.5 or whatever it is. Okay, beaming, reasonably good tracking here, right? You decide to play conservatively here. But the thing is, there's no reason to play conservative, okay? Right now, it's a 4-4 and you had control of the point. And you have both of your supports here. There's no reason for you to play back. So you see, right here, you see that they're zapping, okay? The Junker Queen's nervous. She uses shout, and she's going backwards. That is your sign that the Junker Queen does not think she can win this fight right now. That means instead of you going backwards, you should go forwards. Not forwards here, but forwards like here, right? Or at least play this corner right here, right? You playing this corner gives up way too much space, which gives them the opportunity to come around and kill your Ana this way or this way. But I guarantee you, no one's going to be going for the Ana if you're playing right here or right here, because you're way too close to them and they're too scared. Okay, you got to play further up. See? Exactly what I thought was going to happen. So Jungle Queen's like, okay, if you're going to play this far away, put in a cough drop before I die here. So if you're going to play this far away, the Jungle Queen's just going to walk over and kill your backline. Right? You're at full health right now. There's no reason to be this scared. Now you're like, oh shoot, what do I do? Try to bring down the Kiriko, which is the right call. Try to get the melee cancel, right? Even on the Mercy. You see how much, you're only 50, you see how fast you kill heroes? It's like actually bonkers how fast you kill people. Oh, you missed the kill. Right? Both supports are still low. I would still try to kill Mercy here, by the way, but it's fine. So the problem right now is that your whole team has died, and you're just alive over here, doing nothing. All right, quick pause. So, your whole team has died here because you're just not doing anything enough to impact the fight. Let's watch from the moment that you step back what happens. All right, we'll do like the vertical view. All right, so you went forwards. Like this is the moment, or no, actually before. So this is the moment where you backed off when you shouldn't have. So they're going after your backline over here. What are you doing? Nothing. You're way too far away to affect this fight. Right? You walk forward, you go after the supports, which is great, but you don't get the kill. And she's gonna get away. She's Suzu, she gets away. Right? Now they go after DPS, I think. Right, the soldier. Right, Suzu? Like your team's doing a good job buying time. Now they pop visor, you're not dealing with the visor at all. They kill one. Right, they kill a second. Right? They managed to kill the visored soldier. You're still over here, you still haven't gotten a kill, they kill the third one. And they leave you for the last, which is exactly what they should do. I guess technically you still have a DPS here. Yep, now your DPS is dead. And you've gone through all that. Now you're super low, and now you're not going to get out with your charge, which is terrible. So what could you have done differently? As I pointed out, you should have pressed the advantage when you had the advantage. Okay, when you were high energy, right, and they were backing off, that was a good sign, right? That was a good sign that you should have kept going. Instead, they pressure into your backline, which is going to force defensive cooldowns, and everything's going to fall apart from there. Even after that, you still could have won with just slightly better mechanics here, right? Just slightly better tracking, right click at the end. You know, for example, this Mercy for sure should die. Like you had a lot of opportunity to kill her, then you had an opportunity to kill the Kiriko again, right? You had an opportunity to grab at any point in this fight, and you didn't do any of those things, right? So ultimately, if the other team leaves you alone for, let's think about when it is when you start the fight, basically stop getting pressured. So at this point in time, you pretty much are not pressured. Okay, 136. Let's watch how long it is. Like you need dynamite here, right? But like you see, your health's not really going down very much. Like no one's actually trying to kill you, right? Again, you're taking like 50 damage at a time, no big deal. Right? The other team is basically ignoring you. Right? Again, this Kiriko is. I do not count her kunais as an actual threat to you. So we're still waiting for your soldier to die, and then we'll call it good. Okay, so from 136 to 219, that's 24, 30, 43 seconds, right? For 43 seconds, despite being high energy, you got 0 kills. So if you ask, what could I do to win this fight? You're gonna need to kill somebody. I mean, that's the reality of playing a shooting game, is that if you can't hit people enough to kill them, you're gonna lose. You had 43 seconds of high energy to kill anybody, and you killed nobody. Why is that? Well, I mean, there's positional mistakes here, right? There's like kind of like the timing mistakes, but mostly it's that you just couldn't track them, which is an aim issue. Right? How do you fix that? No, I'm not going to try to explain how to improve your aim. That's like way too complex for me to be able to do that. Okay, so here we go again. So you come back, Jungle Queen's out of position, right? She's clearly out of position. She's way out of position. She's basically like right in front of your whole team. She's super low. There's an opportunity to maybe burn her down for force shout or something, right? You chase her, okay, fine. But your team has continued taking this route, fine. You have grab here. What do you grab? Well, you grab whatever can die. Honestly, even one kill can turn a fight. Right? Preferably supports and DPS, but if you have to, you can grab someone else. Alright, you grab early. So let's pause. Let's pause right here. Is this a good grab? Well, let's look at, you end up capturing 3 people in this grab, which is great. What's the problem here? Can anybody actually follow up on this? Not really. You see how nobody's dying right now? Why doesn't anybody die? Let's think about why doesn't anybody die? Well, you, as a reminder, when you have 0 charge, which is the way it is when you enter this fight, when you have low energy, you only do 45 damage on the direct and like 30 damage on the splash. So you personally are doing almost no damage to these. Plus they're killing each other, okay? And they're in heal station. The Sojourn Disruptor Field does good damage. I think it does like 200 damage over 5 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, something like that. But it's not even hitting everybody. I think it's hitting just the soldier based on this. It's a little hard to tell the edge. I think it's hitting just the soldier. So that's not doing any damage. The Sojourn doesn't have railgun. So the Sojourn can't one-tap anybody in the head. And the Genji's not here. And your supports are busy because they're being attacked in the backline. So you decide to do this grab all on your own. That's still okay, right? I grab people solo all the time. Where like my team can't help. But that's because I know I can kill them. And that's the rule for grab, is if you grab when your team isn't ready, that means, that's okay, but that means that you personally are responsible for securing those kills. Right? Otherwise, save grab for when your team can actually do something about it. Showing up to a fight late, like this, where you don't really understand what's going on or what the situation is a bad idea. You need more time to figure out how does this fight develop, what are the opportunities, where's my team, where's their team, before you just launch this grab right now. I would also point out your beam, while longer than you think, is still too short to reach this guy. The beam is like way longer than you would expect. It's like 15 meters or something crazy. But you are not able to zap anybody right now. This is quite a bit short. Right? This is a bad grab. And it's going to cost you this fight. How do you close it? You actually run out? Yeah, actually run out of ammo. Right? Genji luckily gets a kill here. Great. He showed up just in time to kill one. You're at 0 energy right now, and you've used both of your bubbles. Right? That should tell you you have made a mistake. You've used both bubbles and not gotten any energy. Well, how could you have gotten energy? Well, I would say use it on people who are actually, like friendlies who are actually getting attacked, which is not you. Right? You're going to bubble, I think probably right now. Yeah, no one's shooting you. Like you took 170 damage, but no one's continuing to shoot you. Okay? So you actually did not need to bubble there. Your backline, however, is getting shot to pieces. So bubbling your Kiriko here, for example, would be very high value. Bob is up now, right? Bubbling anybody who Bob was shooting would have been high value. This is no good. Now you're giving Nano, but you have 0 energy, so this is really bad. I think we meant to give it to the Genji. There's some confusion. At this point, the Bob is not going to die. I just know this instinct. Yeah, just trying to kill everybody else. Jungle Queen jumps off the map. Incredibly lucky. And you're going to win this fight despite the fact that you did almost nothing. So, why are you playing back here? Right? You want to play as a tank in a spot where you can mirror where they're going, right? If they're going main, right, you want to be over here. If they're going coast, you want to be like over here, somewhere over here. This is not a good spot. Why? What if they go main, right? Then they go here, and then they take high ground, and they push your team in, and then you could never respond because you're not a very fast hero. Okay? You have to be very conscious of where you set up. This is way too far away to be able to do anything of any consequence. Okay. So once again, you've used up both of your bubbles. How did you use up both of your bubbles? So she fired one shot and then you bubbled, and now she's not shooting you again. Right? She's very lucky she mistimes the cleave. She's trying to get it for after your bubble ends. She's off by like a quarter second. Alright. So all you do right now is just stay alive. Right? Right? Staying alive is good. You have control of the point. It's up to them to kill somebody. You killed this soldier right here. You saw this on your screen. Right? Factually, you see this soldier right here. At any moment in time, you could have zapped them and gotten the kill. Alright, you go for the queen. Don't stand close enough that she can cleave you. You go for the Genji. Genji was not really low, but it's okay. Right? Again, see? You do a lot of damage. You do like a crazy amount of damage. Right? Don't just right click and immediately start left clicking after. Right? Yep, you go for the Mercy. Good. Alright, well, okay, fine. Again, you can be aggressive here. You have full health. You're playing very scared considering the situation. Just keep hunting people down. Like, yeah, they use Suzu, they use Guardian, whatever. Just keep following it through, right? The Junker Queen is dead. You have full health. You're being pocketed by supports. Just keep hunting people down until they die. Don't let her Suzu and then be like, oh, I guess I can never kill you again. Suzu's going to wear off in like 3/4 of a second. Just keep following her until she dies. Right? Just follow her. Just keep following her. Don't stop. Yeah, see? Now you get the kill because you're persistent. Right? Just stay on the Kiriko. Right? She teleports? Great. Figure out where she went. Oh, Jungle Queen's in your face? Okay, fine. Like, you gotta deal with this now. Right? This is a good grab, but not quite in the best timing or space. So the other thing to think about when you grab is how much ammo do you have? Because again, if you're planning on contributing to the fight, you need ammo. You only have one right click here. Right? You really should have popped that right click before you run out. Right? Genji was luckily able to follow up on that, but I think you could have waited a little longer to pop that grab until you had ammo. Okay, again, go for the supports if you get a chance. And then you die. You really shouldn't have died here. I think both, looks like both of your supports are not healing you. Yeah, she's not healing you. Your Kiriko just got back. So you only have one support here. So I think you're playing too far forward. Once you realize that you're not getting any healing and you don't have bubbles, you have to play safe. Right? When you're at high energy, save bubbles to survive, not to build charge. Right? She told you, I think you're trying to get... So, by the way, you can right-click her feet between you and her to knock her back. It's a very important trick to know. Okay, you're gonna die here. You're gonna try to contest. I would bubble here for sure. I would bubble that Ana. Like, yeah, 100%. You have no idea what's going on or how she's being targeted. I would assume that you're targeting her down. Again, you have full health right now. I would think about using another bubble on friendlies right now because you probably don't need it as much. Except for now. Right? Again, don't play out here. Out here, they can all shoot you. Right? Right now, you're just trying to play for time because your team is down and they're trickling in. So all you want to do is play here and go back, touch the point, go back, touch the point. Just keep doing that repeatedly. And then your supports can keep you alive. But walking out a point like that is suicide. Alright, so you have Hog. Again, you don't have to fear Hog too much as long as you have bubbles. If you don't have bubbles, you're in big trouble. You can also save bubble to protect teammates. You know the Hog is going to hook somebody. I think one of the things is like, don't use all your bubbles expecting the Hog to never land hooks, okay? If they're playing Hog, it's because they expect to land a hook sooner or later. So save a bubble always to save a teammate or yourself. Like, you could have saved the Ana there, and that would have been a huge value play if you just hadn't been so wasteful with your bubbles. Right? Also, falling down here is no good. Right? Now you bubble, but the value doesn't get you value. Nobody's shooting at them. You walk at the point, screw the point. This is something I saw on the previous one. Ignore the point. On King of the Hill maps, the point is a trap. Typically. It's actually much more complicated than that. But generally speaking, don't worry about capturing the point, okay? Your number one goal should be to kill the opposing team. Sorry. So, if you leave high ground to go capture the point, that gives them high ground, and they stand here and they shoot you. And then what's your plan? It's to die, right? Like, what are you going to do when they're shooting you from high ground? You're going to be like, well, I guess I'll die here, because where are you going to go? You know? Stay high ground as long as you can. Yes, your team is dying right now. You could drop down and try to cap. But the thing is, like, all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. Right? I think you should just get out, right? And regroup with your team. This is what you're going to do. Capping here isn't going to complicate it, other than feeding more ult charge and getting everything killed. And that's exactly what happens. Again, I haven't seen the rest of the replay like well enough to know like who wins what. I can just look at the situation and recognize nothing's going to happen. I wouldn't do this like right-click jumping in King of the Hill, at least. Any short distances, don't bother. All right. Let's analyze the situation. You got Hog on low ground, right? And you see the hit scan over here, and you see a hit scan over here. This is a very hard situation to play Zarya. I will tell you that right now. I would not feel comfortable playing Zarya in this situation because I can't remember the rules, right? Number 1, can I get charged? Number 2, can I find people to beam? I cannot get charged here because they're really far away and they're hit scan heroes, so they can choose to stop shooting me at any time. They don't have projectiles, right? Not typically, other than this dynamite, just flying in the air, kind of neat. But typically, I can't consistently get charge off of bubbles. Not like if they're playing Junkrat, for example. So 1, I can't get charge. 2, I don't have anybody to beam. They're both medium to long range heroes, which means I'm never going to get close enough to beam them. The only target I have is the Roadhog. You could work on the Roadhog, but it's not a great play because the Roadhog has a lot of health. He can restore a lot of health. He's damage resistant, and he can still hook your team and kill you. Kill them, right? You got to constantly save bubbles for that. So it's not a great matchup situation, honestly. I mean, I think you have a lot of options here. Like basically any other tank would be better than Zarya right now. But so be it. Can you win this game as tank? As Zarya, you could, right? And at this level, I probably could still win the game at Zarya. But at my level, I would not play Zarya in this situation. All right, great. Kiriko's out of position, dead. Right? You see the Mercy. And when you see the Mercy, remember, when there's a Mercy, you should think, okay, is she going to try to res? So, again, stay on the Mercy here. Yeah, see? And now she tries to res, because you're losing track of the Mercy. Right? Hugs purple. Great, get the kill. You see the Mercy. You see how your teammate is killing them. Focusing fire is a really important thing in Overwatch, okay? So, right here, you see how the Sojourn is killing the Mercy, and you're killing the Sojourn? Kill the Mercy. Right? Very, very important. Kill the Mercy. Don't play down here. Alright? Why? Same reasons as before. Stay in position to mirror where the enemy goes. The most common place that teams will play is right here, because that way they can respond to the right and they can respond to the left. But playing down here means that you're just giving up high ground for no reason, which allows the other team to just shoot at you freely. Very lucky we threw look at you while you're bubbling for no reason. Great, team gets kills. High noon. You basically didn't do anything here, but we'll take it sometimes. Alright, so they come in from underneath. So the reason why, by the way, if you play up here, you can easily drop and contest underneath as well. But the reason why teams don't typically play on point is because they lose high ground, alright? Well, what about the underneath path? The underneath path is really bad because it doesn't take high ground. Again, if your team is sitting up here, right, or over here, the team coming out of this underneath tunnel is in a very bad position. And that's exactly what happens here. So you grab, Orisa has fortify, so she's not affected by grab. You shield here, which is the right call, and just burn her down, right? You want to burn her down here to farm grab for sure. Like, look how fast you're building grab. You could have gotten another 4 or 5% of that if you've been attacking her from the beginning. So, again, a reminder that's a really bad idea to play on point. So Bob has been popped. You pop shield to get some energy, which is also not so good. So, not your job right now to defend the point. You have to deal with clearing one angle at a time. If you step into the middle, everybody can shoot you at once. But if you step this way and played this way, you could have pushed out the soldier at least and forced him towards the rest of the team, right? And then potentially got high ground and killed them. You might think, okay, what about the point? Well, the thing is, are you going to save the point right now? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you're just going to die here. Right? The bomb is active right now. You're in the middle of the whole team, and you get lit up and you get killed. Okay, you're zapping, great. Okay, you see the Kiriko Swift stepped in? She's vulnerable right now because she doesn't have Swift step. Right? Kitsune rushes up. You should go for the Kiriko. Right? Really? Yeah. Kiriko, great. Kiriko's dead. Chase the soldier. I think you didn't need that reload. Oh, I guess you did. Alright, soldier's dead. You cap. So, what happens now? Ash is here. They're on coast side. Okay, yeah. You just walk up. Again, try to kill the Kiriko if you can. The Ash will be there, fine. Alright, your backside. Again, you standing out in the middle means that you have nowhere to cover from. Everybody can always attack you at any moment in time. Okay, you could have played, for example, right here, or behind this, right? Or over here. A lot of options you had. Standing in the middle, bad option. So you grab here. First, let's figure out how did you get into this wacky position. Well, the Risa's kind of spinning you into the midst of the whole team. You really should have died here. It's actually honestly quite shocking that you did not die here. Because you didn't even have bubble ring. Right? That goes off, and you immediately counter with a grab. Is this a good grab? I don't think so. Right? Why? Because you don't actually know what the team situation is. Right? You haven't been looking around at all, unless you're checking the scoreboard, which I think it's unlikely based on the situation. You only have 4 people here. You only need 1 fight, because it's 99%. Okay? I can just make sure I come back as 5, grab, and then we've won the game, won the round. But grabbing now is a huge risk if this does not result in a win. Ash is killed 2. Again, remember your Ana was dead when you popped the grab, so you're already down 1. Again, you're attacking the Orisa instead of attacking the Mercy. Let's just watch this from third person. You can see the beam, right? It's not like the Mercy's invisible. Like, you can see the beam. Plus, you can hear and see the Yofudas from Kiriko coming behind you. You can easily kill this Mercy at any moment in time. Right? You have 100 energy here, and you're going for the wrong target. That's why nobody is dying right now. Again, just prioritize the supports or DPS or anything but the tank. The tank wants you to shoot at the tank. Every second you're getting shot as a tank, you're doing, generally speaking, a service to your team. And now you're going to be coming back and you have no charge and you have no ultimate. So you're at the mercy of your team to try to carry you through this fight. Unfortunately, your team popped all their ultis, so it's going to be really, really hard to win this fight, especially when they still have bomb. Alright, got 1 pick? Great. Alright, Ana, you notice Ana does the smart thing by running on point. You didn't even keep track of that. I was looking at this happen, watching this happen in real time. Right? It's at 96. Somebody needs to attach a point at 97 or above in order to trigger overtime. You don't do it because you're just kind of off here distracted. And then you keep zapping. Again, you're like you're trying to kill like the tankiest character in the game. and then the game ends. All right. So yeah, I would say this is probably upper bronze, lower silver is my guess for MMR ranking. Suggestions. I would say number 1, bubble for space, not for charge. Number 2, prioritize the backline when you beam people down. And number 3, understand when you are strong and understand when you are weak. And push when you are strong, fall back or play defensive when you are weak. Right? I think there's a lot other little things that I covered, but I think I grand big strokes, that would be the primary things that I would talk about. All right, hopefully that's useful.